On a cold January morning, Jamie Collins, a 28-year-old waitress at a quiet diner in Metro City, found herself fired for a simple yet profound act of kindness. She had gone out of her way to help a customer, a man she didn't even recognize at first. But when he removed his baseball cap and smiled gratefully, she realized he was someone famous. Little did she know, this small gesture would turn her life upside down. Where are you watching from? Share in the comments below and be sure to hit subscribe for more inspiring stories like this. Your support helps us bring you incredible stories that touch the heart. Welcome to the Timeless Stories channel, where we share stories of perseverance, kindness, and unexpected moments that inspire us all. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you never miss out on a new video. Now let's dive into the rest of Jamie's incredible story. Jamie hadn't thought much of it. The man had come into the diner late one evening, looking exhausted, as though he carried the weight of the world on his shoulders. She was finishing up her shift when she noticed his wallet had fallen beneath the booth. Without hesitation, she ran outside into the cold night to catch him before he drove off. "Sir, you forgot this!" she called out, reaching him just as he was unlocking the door of a modest black sedan. He turned, startled. For a moment, Jamie saw something in his eyes: relief, gratitude, and something deeper she couldn't quite place. "Thank you," he murmured. He hesitated before adding, "You didn't even look inside, did you?" Jamie shook her head, confused. "Why would I?" she replied with a small laugh. The next morning, everything changed. Her manager found out and confronted her. "You went outside the diner during your shift for some random customer?" he snapped, not giving her a chance to explain. "We can't have that kind of carelessness here. I'm sorry, but you're fired." Shocked and devastated, Jamie tried to plead her case, but it was no use. With a heavy heart, she packed her things and left the diner, unsure of what to do next. The following day, as she sat in her small apartment, worrying about how she would pay her rent, she turned on the TV, and what she saw left her speechless. The famous man was on a talk show, sharing a heartfelt story about an act of kindness that had given him hope. "Someone out there reminded me why humanity is still worth believing in," he said. "She didn't treat me like a celebrity. She treated me like a person. And in that moment, it meant everything." Jamie's breath caught in her throat. He was talking about her. But what he said next changed everything. "I've been looking for her," he continued, gazing directly into the camera. "I don't know her name, but if she's out there, I just want to say thank you. And if there's any way I can repay her kindness, I will." Jamie's phone buzzed with a message from her friend. "Jamie, isn't this about you? You're all over the news." Her heart pounded. Her small act of kindness had spiraled into something far bigger than she could have imagined. The next morning, Jamie stepped out into the crisp city air, trying to clear her mind. As she walked, deep in thought, a black sedan pulled up beside her. "Excuse me," a familiar voice called. She froze. Turning slowly, she found herself face to face with him. "It's you," he said, his voice filled with warmth. Jamie's breath caught. "I didn't think you'd remember me," she stammered. "How could I forget?" he said softly. "You reminded me of something I thought I'd lost. And now, I'd like to return the favor." Just then, Jamie's phone buzzed with another message, this time from her landlord. Her rent was overdue and an eviction notice was on the way. Panic set in, but she tried to mask it. He, however, noticed. "Are you okay?" he asked gently. Jamie forced a smile. "I'm fine," she lied. His gaze didn't waver. "You don't have to pretend," he said. "Let me help." Before she could refuse, he handed her a folded piece of paper. Hesitantly, she unfolded it. A check, with more money than she had ever seen. "I can't accept this," she whispered. "It's too much." He smiled, his eyes kind. "It's not about the money. It's about what you did for me. You gave me something I hadn't felt in years. Hope. Let me do the same for you." Tears welled in Jamie's eyes. "I don't know what to say." "Just promise me one thing," he said. "Don't let the world take your kindness away. It's rare, and it's powerful." For the first time in days, Jamie felt hope. He hesitated before speaking again. "That night, I had just come from the hospital. My sister is fighting cancer. I felt lost, but your kindness pulled me back." Jamie's heart ached as she reached out and touched his arm. I'm so sorry, she murmured. He smiled faintly. You didn't just return my wallet. You reminded me that there's still light in the world, and I want to be that light for you. Jamie realized that this wasn't about charity. It was about two people saving each other in ways they hadn't expected. As his phone buzzed again, he sighed. I have to go, but this isn't the end. Jamie stood on the sidewalk clutching the check, feeling gratitude and hope. Later that night, Jamie watched a news clip of him outside the hospital, speaking about his sister's strength. He mentioned her again, how a stranger had reminded him to keep going. The next morning, Jamie made a decision. She folded the check and headed to the hospital. Upon arrival, a nurse recognized her and led her to his sister's room. His sister smiled kindly. Thank you for taking care of my brother, she said. Jamie blinked back tears. I didn't do anything special. He shook his head. You did more than you realize. They talked for hours, and Jamie felt a warmth she hadn't known in a long time. As she prepared to leave, he walked her to the hallway. I don't want this to be the last time we see each other. Jamie smiled softly. It doesn't have to be. If this story touched you, take a moment to show kindness today. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel Timeless Stories for more inspiring content.